Cast a loose steam. Today, it is setting in, Parker. Summer is coming to an end. And with that,
is it?
Young people around the world will be either going back to school or some of them starting their jobs for the first time. Or if you're like us, nothing has changed and we don't really have a summer break. But with that being said, as we're coming towards the end of summer, I think it would be a great time for us to talk about how you can effectively stand out and be your best self when you start something new, whether that's going to college, whether that's starting a new grade, or starting a new job.
This is the time of the year where I feel like the new peeps join the company that we work at. A lot of people are even switching companies, but for the most part, you and I both know that a ton of graduates from college are starting their jobs now, and I think it would be a lot of fun for us to talk through some of our advice for them. So Sammy, I'm curious, your first few days at the job we work at now, we still work at the same company. What was it like for you? Was it challenging? Was it a struggle? I know we've talked about this before, but what helped you get over that?
I think one of the biggest things that I realized now was you need to be your authentic self. I tried to put on this facade of being so much more formal and professional and uptight than I needed to be, and it wasn't me. And as soon as I started getting comfortable, and it takes some time with the people I worked with my team, knowing where the bathroom was, that helped me relax a bit, right? And where everything is in your office and the people you need to go through for different things. Once you kind of have those basics in place, it allows you to stop thinking as much about being judged or what you need to do and more, how can I just be my best self? And so once I did that, I think I was able to really start to stand out and really grow as a young person in the business world. What about you, Parker? When did you have that moment, man?
I mean, I was the same exact way, and I would have said the same exact advice. It's cliche, but sometimes cliches just make a lot of sense. I feel like when I first started, I was trying to be someone who I wasn't. I was trying to do things that I knew really deep down weren't things that I liked to do. I just felt like I had to do them because I was in this job. And you know my story. You know that the first few months were really, really difficult for me because I kind of lost touch with my, what I brought to the table. And I think what helped me, and this is a little bit more advice on top of what you gave, is for the first 3 months, I struggled because I was trying to be someone that I wasn't, but also I really didn't take the time to try to meet the people I was working with and build a relationship beyond the work itself with them. And once I turned that corner and I started having conversations just about like life with those people and building that connection, that's when I felt I had a turn in my job, because then these people were like, oh, wait, Parker, like, we love learning about your personal life too and what you do outside of work, but how can we help you in work? Like, is this something that you're interested in? Is this something that you're not interested in? And from that point, those people who I built those connections with were now helping me in the job. And I think that was a really challenging lesson that I had to learn, because I feel like I've always been that person that was going out and making those relationships, but I wasn't able to be myself at the beginning because of how overwhelming it was and whatnot. So just take a step back and remember that maybe you just need to start meeting some people with who you're working with and then go from there.
Some of the best advice I got was you will become successful in business for the meetings that happen outside of the boardroom. And by that, this person meant it is not
That's
about
a good quote.
Not about the presentation
Who said
that you make. One of my old bosses. And he said, it's not about the presentation that you make in the boardroom. Everyone is smart. Everyone is intelligent. Everyone has good ideas. But whose family do you know? Who did you grab a beer with after work? Who did you go and try that cool new Indian food with? Those are the people that will advocate for you, who you'll make memories with, who you'll have that special bond with, and who will go to you first when cool opportunities come up and when they need something. And that's why I think business is perceived as a young person when you look in movies and you look on LinkedIn and you see all these people posting and so formal and fancy and look like they have their entire lives together. Business people, adults, whatever you want to call them, are big kids with more money and bills to pay. That's essentially it. We all have passions, we all have goals, we all have weaknesses, and we all have strengths. There's not very much that separates us from the 16-year-old kid who really would rather be playing basketball outside or singing his favorite song. The only difference is we now clock in and clock out, make money, and have bills to pay. Everyone still has their passions and those things that really excite them. And when you can find those in your coworkers and your bosses and connect with them around those, you will stand out and make an impact.
And it's not even just if you're in business or not. It's any person that is going into a job. I think one piece that I really struggled with is that I thought I had to be essentially like the best, the perfect, like walk in and play this role like you talked about as like this business guy, if we're talking about that. And at the end of the day, I set my expectations so high for where I wanted to be, and I was never meeting them ever. Like I get asked a question in a meeting and be like, oh shit. What's going on? And like, I would give an answer and maybe it was what they were looking for. Maybe it wasn't, but I set my expectations way too high. At the end of the day, if you're starting out of college, you may have an unbelievable degree. You may have an unbelievable GPA, done all of these extracurriculars. But remember, if you're a new person in a new job just out of college, there are people around you who've been doing this a long time. And they have the experience in that business or in that job or in that industry that you definitely don't have. And it's not that you don't know anything. It's the fact that you're just sitting there and you're new to it. So I felt as if my expectation for myself was going to be through the roof. I'm going to be changing the world, when in reality, I wasn't. And that really hurt me. And at the end of the day, people around you expect you to show up and be a good team player. You don't need to contribute on day one. Maybe if you're in like investment banking or something, but like just show up, have a good attitude, be a good person, and build good relationships, because then over time you will continue to grow and then be the person who's talking up in meetings, giving the advice to the client, killing it, and, helping the next young person who's coming in.
That's exactly it. Take the pressure off yourself. Realize everyone else is just a big kid. They are human. They have feelings. They have passions. They have goals. They have dreams. Take a deep breath. Do your best. Be a sponge. Absorb. But realize that at the end of the day, humans, for now, are still making most of the big decisions in the real world. AI and robots might take that over one day. But right now, it's still humans. And so if that's the case, your performance, your happiness, your opportunities are not solely based on the work you do. That's part of it. Do a good job. Don't get me wrong. Don't twist my words. But that's only a small piece of the puzzle. Who you are as a person, what you care about, and how you communicate with other people. And probably most importantly, do they like working with you? Will truly have an impact on your career trajectory.
I've always thought about, I've worked with people, Sam, who are freaking brilliant, and they're probably really, really good at the job, but they were really difficult to work with. So is the average person let's call it a technical person, if we're doing a technical job, you're average. You got person one, he's average in the technical space, but he is such a good team player. Everyone loves him, loves working with him, collaborating, brainstorming. And then you have person two, very exceptional at the technical piece, but is very difficult to work with. I think 10 out of 10 times, everyone will take the first person, right? That's
you
what
mean
I
the more
think.
social person?
The better team player, the one that's easier to work with. Because I feel like you can build that person up.
Unless you're locking that analytical person in a basement by themselves and just say, go, code, then maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
But for the most part,
that way.
Exactly. It's personality, how you communicate with people, and just being your best, genuine self each and every day.
And it wouldn't be Fortitude in 15 if I didn't bring in mental fortitude here. And if you're lost, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if things are not going the way you want them to go, you can always revert back to the mental fortitude framework. Self-awareness, vision, and accountability. Take a step back, have some self-awareness, be introspective. What do you bring to the table? What do you not bring to the table? And then what do you actually want out of that job? What do you actually want to do every single day? Write those things down. Have your vision in front of you based upon who you are. And of course, every single day, wake up and hold yourself accountable to what, to your self-awareness exercises and your vision. I think that'll help. Maybe.
And if it doesn't,
that's my hypothesis.
Give us a call. We'll try to help however we can.
We want to
check out. We have a contact info on our website. We will give you a free 30 minutes of our time. If it takes more, we'll give you more. We don't care. We just want to make sure everybody's feeling fulfilled and ready to conquer whatever new event is coming up in their life. So, love that, Parker. I think this was a great inspiration for all the young people that are starting out, and I think you know how to close us out. It wouldn't be Fortitude in 15 without Parker's perspective.
I have a perfect quote for this week based upon
Parker's
this
perfect
conversation.
perspective.
I wouldn't call it perfect, but I will say that it's Parker's perspective. And it's said by, the quote was written or said or sung by Ben Casnocha. I have no idea who any of these people are, Sam. You have to look them up. You have to tell us. Ben Casnocha. Casnocha.
Ben Casnocha is an entrepreneur, author, and venture capitalist based in San Francisco. He is the co-founder and partner of Village Global. Ben, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show. All right,
should tag him.
Continue.
Totally. So Ben once said, every opportunity is attached to a person. Opportunities do not float like clouds in the sky. They are attached to people. If you're looking for an opportunity, including one that has a payoff, you're really looking for a person. People skills, being a good team player, doing the extra things to make people, or not even to make people like you, just being a good person, being someone that other people would want to be with. Opportunities are attached to people and people only. If you want to truly elevate your life, start meeting some cool people who maybe align with your vision, who maybe align with who you are, and can, more importantly, hold you accountable to be a better person, better business person, better employee, better brother, son, daughter, whatever it is. It starts with the people.
People, promise, Parker picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Well done.
Thank you. Well, that was lovely. And thank you for your perspective, Parker. You should absolutely tag that author and entrepreneur. And Elevation Nation, if you haven't checked out our interview with Jeremy Stauffer and how he used COVID as a way to quit his corporate job and follow his dream path of being a mega yacht captain for the rich, famous billionaires, then you probably should, because it's pretty damn cool. So check that out. And until next week, Elevation Nation, peace. Parker's piece of